Welcome to Around the Ozarks, a public affairs program brought to you by your local Midwest family broadcasting station. Here's your host, Scott Meyer.
Good morning and welcome to this morning's version of Around the Ozarks. My name is Scott Meyer. I'm the general manager here at Midwest Family Marketing. And we've got a really special guest this morning, Matt Morrow, who is the president and CEO of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Matt, good morning.
Morning. Thanks for letting me be with you today.
Well, you're very welcome, and thanks for coming in on short notice. One of the things that makes this morning's show timely, I think, is we're not far before the election. The election obviously involves lots of different factors, but being the president and CEO of our chamber, what does that mean to you and Springfield as a whole, this upcoming election?
I mean, different elections at different levels obviously have different effects on our local economy and what we're trying to work toward. You know, every day we're working on projects that will hopefully grow the economy, create jobs, and expand some economic opportunity for everybody who lives in the area. And markets like certainty. Markets are a little bit jumpy when times are uncertain, and election years are notoriously uncertain times for people, and so there's a little bit of that right now too. We have the primary here in August. That'll out kind of clear up some of the more crowded races that are out there. But then ultimately, obviously, everyone's looking to November. We
hear the buzzwords all the time about creating jobs, and we all want that. Everybody likes to hear about that, but you're front and center of what's going on here in Springfield. And why don't you tell the audience this morning what's going on in Springfield?
Well, there are a lot of great things going on in Springfield. And, thank you for asking that. And I think that's there's a story that we need to tell more of here locally. But, one of the things that as a Chamber of Commerce, we're the lead economic development organization in the community, which means we're a private organization representing the business community. But we work with the city, the county, city utilities, and other partners to try to manage projects that will bring employers to town who are not here yet and compete with other communities for those projects, and at the same time compete with other communities for expansion projects of those companies that are already here today. And we've had a great year in that regard, really. We've announced 7 projects already this year to completion, and those projects represent more than 200 new jobs here in our area. Average wage for those jobs just on the projects that we've worked on is over $50,000 per year for each of those jobs. And so, in the broader sense, it's just a good time to be in Springfield. In the last 12 months, we've added more than 6,000 new jobs to the economy and over 4,000 new people to the workforce. And so we like to see both those numbers going up, and we especially like to see the number of jobs outpacing the number of people, because when that happens, some really great and interesting things start to take place. Our unemployment rate comes down. That's the first thing that happens, and we are well below the state and national unemployment rates here. But perhaps even more importantly, we start to see real upward pressure on wages, on incomes, and Greene County so far this year, is number 1 out of 114 counties in the state of Missouri in wage growth. And
is that right?
Yeah, and it makes sense that it would be, again, given the fact that we've had that sustained period now for about 3 years where we've created a lot of jobs in an ongoing way, and we've added a lot of people to the workforce too, but we're creating jobs faster than we're adding people to the workforce.
My guest this morning is Matt Morrow, the president and CEO of the Springfield Chamber. Matt, I get asked all the time from around the country, what is the economic base that makes Springfield work so well, with less than 4% unemployment? Can you put your finger on any one thing that gives us that kind of an economic base here? It's not the state capital, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. There are probably, I'd say, 2 or 3 dynamics that are really key for us here in Springfield and in the broader region. So not just, Springfield's the center of an economic development region that we think of that's easily 10 counties large. But in essence, I think the biggest thing that we have going for us is a very broad and diverse economy. So we're not overly dependent on any one industry that would make us vulnerable to a certain type of economic downturn. And to the extent that we have maybe our largest employers within that diverse mix, those largest employers are in the healthcare industry. They're in education, higher ed, and other education. Those are areas that are typically pretty recession resistant. People still get sick, even whether in good times or bad. People still get sick. They still need procedures. Still need to go to the hospital. Still need those things. And in fact, the truth is, in down economic times, education often sees an increase because people invest in their education, they invest in developing their skills to the point where they can be more employable. So I think that helps us a lot. It's a diverse economy, the heavy in healthcare and education. But, that also provides for us some real opportunities. Most communities, on average, a community of our size is going to have about 14 or 15% of its workforce come from manufacturing. Those are good jobs. Those are jobs that are significantly higher than the average wage in the region. And we have a great manufacturing sector in Springfield, but we don't have anywhere near 15% of our jobs coming from manufacturing. We're at about 8% of our jobs coming from manufacturing. And so, of the 13 active projects that we're working right now trying to attract to Springfield, 9 of them are in manufacturing.
Oh, is that right?
It's very strategic the way we go about that. We think we've got room to grow there without becoming disproportionately dependent on any one sector.
Excellent. My guest this morning is Matt Morrow, the president and CEO of our Springfield Area Chamber. Matt, who's Matt Morrow? Where are you from?
Well, this is home for me. I grew up in Bolivar. My wife Rachel and I have been married for 19 years, and we have spent most of that time in Springfield. I was the director of the Home Builders Association here in Springfield for about 12 years, and then took a job to do the same thing in Birmingham, Alabama. Moved our family away, and returned back here for this role with the Chamber of Commerce, which I have always had just this incredible passion for our Chamber of Commerce here in Springfield. Was fortunate enough to serve on the board of directors when I lived here before moving away to Birmingham, and had just really thought very highly of it and worked closely on a whole number of projects and initiatives jointly with the home builders and the chamber. So really excited to have the chance to come back. I've been back now almost 2 years, and it's just home. There's no place like it.
Things are good today. What do you think they look like in the next 5 years?
I think on a broader sense, economically, maybe even globally, but certainly our nation's economy, there's a lot of unknowns between now and 5 years from now. And depending on which way some of those go, cyclically, we would be in line for some sort of a maybe recessionary reaction sometime toward the end of that time frame that you're talking about. And so people who watch those trends and try to just sort of plan for them do a lot of building right now. They do a lot of gearing up for that, a lot of preparing for that, so that they're able to weather the hard times too. I'm not really sure exactly whether we should expect a normal cycle, though, this time around. And there are a number of reasons for that. Our recovery has been anything but normal out of the last recession. Mm-hmm. And so I think that probably has some effect on what the next couple of cycles look like. And then, of course, we have significantly different visions for the future in the election, whether that's at the presidential level or on down. And so depending on who's making policy, what kinds of policy they're making, some of those have very significant impacts.
Nationwide, you see chambers being painted with a fairly broad brush about being responsible for bringing a lot of folks across the border, legal or illegal. Any thoughts about that as a chamber president?
Well, I know the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has been pretty aggressive in immigration reform, and as a local chamber, we operate independently. The local chambers of commerce and state chambers and the U.S. Chamber, and we want to see a good path that helps to handle the workforce needs for employers, and that's not just in immigration. There may be an element of that's there that's necessary, but a precursor to that is you really have to control your border. You really have to be able to handle your legal system as it is. And so once there's confidence there, I think most people would be willing to have a conversation about what's necessary when it comes to those gaps in the workforce, maybe. But really, right now, whether you're talking about immigration, you're talking about education, you're talking about just pure demographics, the number one constraint on business today is the ability to have access to a skilled, trained workforce and to be able to compete for talent.
I've seen chambers take on a couple of different roles. One is as a PAC, and the other is as a business clearinghouse, if you will. Mm-hmm. Where would you put the Springfield Chamber? I
think our primary roles are as conveners and connectors, and certainly as leaders on economic development and project attraction and expansion. And so that's where we are now. We engage actively in the advocacy game. I mean, we have someone in the state capitol every single week during the legislative session advocating for business, looking for those policies that will help businesses grow and expand and create more jobs. And we're actively engaged at the local level as well, and for that matter, on key issues federally. So we maintain and help connect members, those businesses that are creating the jobs, with policymakers. We, of course, have our own legislative agendas that are shaped by our membership, and we use that to guide the kind of advocacy that we do.
Our guest this morning is Matt Morrow, who is the president and CEO of the Springfield Area Chamber. I'm Scott Meyer, the general manager here at Midwest Family. Matt, chambers are known by business people, but your average citizen, the average man or woman on the street, they look at a chamber. I'm not sure they know what they see when they see a chamber. How does a chamber affect them?
I think one of the things that is probably most commonly missed is chambers of commerce are often described as being responsible for the things that most people think just happen. If you have, I'll give one recent example. We have in Springfield in April recently approved 2 sales taxes, one for a quarter cent, one for an eighth cent. These already existed, but they were sunsetting. That's how we pay for road and bridge construction here in our community. And we do that, I think, in a very responsible way here in the sense that we don't have a permanent tax. We have a tax that expires one of them every 3 years, the other one every 4 years. And so if you do the math, every 12 years they line up and you get to have them both at the same time for consideration. And candidly, that's a little bit unnerving when you're trying to make a case for 2 separate things at the same time that essentially are the way that we fund our infrastructure. Well, the Chamber of Commerce endorses that, runs the campaign, manages the campaign, raises the money necessary to bring that message to voters. And the way that we do that is we hold government accountable to their promises, and then we bring that accountability to voters. So specifically when it comes to transportation, every time there's a new cycle of 3 or 4 years, there's a very specific project list. And that project list is brought before voters. This is what we're going to pay for, and we're going to do it in 3 years. We're going to do it in 4 years. And then when we get to the end of that cycle, we come back with that exact project list and do a report card. That those happened, here's how they happened, here's where they are, and here's what we would do next if you renew. And we just keep that cycle going. And it really is, I think, the way government accountability should work when it works well. And so I think a really key role, there are many roles that a chamber plays in a community, but one of the key roles is to hold government accountable to the people, to the community, and hopefully leverage and engage that community support and community resources for those things that we can only do together that make a stronger, more competitive community.
Matt, I want to thank you for coming in this morning. Obviously, it's been very educational for me and hopefully for our audience. The Chamber's got its hands in a lot of different things. How many local businesses are part of the Chamber? 1,900
members, member businesses and organizations. Some of them are nonprofits, but mostly private businesses. And 80% of our members, of our 1,900 members, are small businesses, 50 or fewer employees. So, we're acutely aware of and acutely listening to the needs of those small businesses. Not only because they're 80% of our members, but because that's actually where proportionally most of the job growth comes. So we get job growth in large companies, but we get proportionally a lot more in those smaller businesses as they are in those early stages of growth.
That's good to know. I think that's taken for granted by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again, Matt, for coming in this morning, and we'll be back with more from around the Ozarks right after this.
Bring out the kiddos and enjoy a fun day complete with great barbecue, games, bounce houses, crafts, and more. The Junior Cattle Barons Ball is an amazing free event for pediatric cancer patients, survivors, and their families, all while letting kids experience fun and freedom thanks to local sponsors. Join us August 7th at the Dar Agricultural Center from 2 to 5 p.m. Call 417-447-1483 to get your free tickets.
Grab your tutus and tiaras. The Diva Dash 5K and Little Princess Girls Run is returning to Nixa on August 27th at 8 a.m. in Macaulay Park. This fun, family-oriented 5K benefits the Child Advocacy Center, an organization that provides young victims of abuse with a safe place to share their stories. To find out more about the Diva Dash 5K and Little Princess Girls Run, visit diva-5k.com.
If you're looking for a night of fun and laughter, then join us for the Not So Newlywed Game supporting the Betty and Bobby Allison Ozarks Counseling Center. The fun begins at 6 p.m. on August 12th with heavy appetizers and silent auction. Then things really heat up with some of the area's top couples as we find out who's been paying attention all these years. Call us at 869-9011 or go online to ozarkscounselingcenter.org to reserve your seats today for only $75 each. You won't want to miss it.
Tennis fans, the Springfield Lasers and World Team Tennis are here and ready for their 21st action-packed season, now through August 13th. Your hometown Lasers take to the court for several evening matches at the Cooper Tennis Complex. See players from Wimbledon and the French Open right here in Springfield, including 6'10" Lasers player John Isner, the #1 American male. Come see world-class professional tennis at its best with the Springfield Lasers. Tickets start at just $10. Call now, 837-5800, or visit SpringfieldLasers.com.
Welcome back to Around the Ozarks this Sunday morning, and I've got a couple of very special guests in with me this morning. We have attorney Aaron Sachs, and we also have his COO, Shannon Cape, both obviously with Aaron Sachs and Associates. Welcome this morning, gentlemen.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Shannon?
Good morning.
There you go. Just want to make sure everybody's awake. It's early, so bear with us. It's easy to talk about the law firm. We're not going to go there right now, Aaron, if that's okay. Right now, there's a huge event that's on everybody's mind, and it's the Route 66 Festival. But let's back up a minute and talk about why your firm got involved in the first place, if we can.
Well, one thing that we feel very strongly about is it's about giving back. The practice of law, we thoroughly enjoy it. We like to help people. That's our mission. But it's a mechanism to do something bigger, better, greater than ourselves. And that's why we're excited about the birthplace of the Route 66 Festival. It's a community celebration of our heritage. Also, it's time for us all to come together and just celebrate for 3 days all the things that Southwest Missouri and Springfield in particular have to offer.
Well, that's it's got to be exciting for your whole group of associates at the firm.
Well, the other thing, in addition, this year is extra special because it's our 25th anniversary as a firm. And so to celebrate that, we're providing 12 bands absolutely free at the Aaron Sachs stage in the middle of the Ozarks on Two Wheels Motorcycle Village. These are top-rated acts. Headliners, for example, we have Dallas Smith, Lindsay L., Blackjack Billy. We have a finalist from The Voice on Sunday, Barrett Baber. A local following of the group Machine Gun Symphony, and blues rock guitarist Anthony Gomes is on Friday night. So we just are going to have a great time, and we want everyone to come out.
When we talk about events like this is a big event getting bigger every year. How has it grown over that time?
Well, it's kind of interesting. This is the 6th year. So the first 4 years, it grew to maybe up to 3,000 or 4,000. Last year, the city estimates that we had around 25,000 people. I'm expecting that this year we're going to have between 40,000 and 50,000 people at this event. So it's something you do not want to miss.
I'm excited. This will be my first one, and I'm really looking forward to it. Guests this morning are attorney Aaron Sachs and Shannon Cape, both from the Aaron Sachs & Associates law firm. I'm Scott Meyer with Around the Ozarks. As big as the event is, there's parts of the event that have kind of taken on a life of their own. And even though Route 66 is best identified with driving and maybe driving in an open car, it appears, certainly on the surface, that the two-wheeled vehicle is pretty important to your firm.
Well, there's something at this event for everyone of all ages. Whether it's an ice cream social to the Ozarks on Two Wheels Motorcycle Village. And I want Shannon to jump in here. Tell us a little bit about the village. Why would a rider want to go, and what attractions do we have, Shannon?
Well, as a rider, there are lots of things that motorcycle people do in our community that I don't think the average person realizes unless they are a motorcycle rider. They give a lot back to the community. And we wanted to have a way that we could support the motorcycle community as well as give them something to come and enjoy. So if you're a motorcycle rider out there or even have an interest in motorcycles, the biggest reason you want to come out is we have 10 different brands that are going to be represented there. We have the Harley-Davidson demo truck that's going to come out. So if you'd like to ride a new Harley-Davidson, now's your opportunity to come and do that.
So, Shannon, let me just jump in there real quick. So let's say that someone is either a new rider or they want to get a new bike. Just tell us, what is a demo truck? What do you have to do? And can you... On the truck, do they have every model of Harley-Davidson? I mean, you really were bringing the showroom to you.
That's basically right. Harley-Davidson brings out all their new 2016 models. They're sitting there as long as you have a valid motorcycle license. You fill out a piece of paper, basically, and you sign up and go for a ride.
So you actually can ride anything?
Mm-hmm. Any bike that they have there, you'll be able to ride.
So what bikes are going to be represented, Shannon? So we got Harley-Davidson. Do we have Yamaha? Well, who else do we have?
We have the Yamaha factory truck coming out as well. So you'll be able to test ride all the Yamaha bikes, from their sport bikes to their cruisers. Indian will be there. Victory, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki. All of our local dealers are going to be there in support with all the different brands, from Germany to Japan to American brands. So about anything you want to see or sit on or sign up for a ride, you'll be able to do that.
Now, you said you're a rider. Tell us a little bit about your bike.
I've started out on mini bikes like a lot of people, and I've been riding motorcycles since I was 6 years old, and there's part of my blood. And I have a Harley-Davidson now that I ride. And so for me, this is personal and very exciting to be around the motorcycles.
The expectations obviously are bigger every year. Where do you expect this to go in 4 or 5 years? What's going to happen with this event, both of these events?
It's one of those things that when you look at this event, it's unique because it's the birthplace of Route 66. And so what that means is back in April of 1926, a telegram actually went out from Park Central Square that said it will be called US 66, hence Route 66. So we have a claim, a stake on the heritage of Route 66. And you look at festivals, now to answer your question, across the country. They have up to 100,000 people or more show up, and it becomes an event that stretches over a week. So this Mother Road event, this is the Mother City being the birthplace of Route 66. Mm-hmm. So it's whatever the community would like to do with this. I think it's going to be huge in the future. This year's biggest addition is basically all the bands coming, the 12 free bands in Ozarks on Two Wheels Motorcycle Village that wasn't there last year. So this is the birthplace of Route 66 Music Festival this year.
You mentioned earlier, Aaron, that the reason you get involved in things like this is to give back. I love stories. Have you got a good story about why it's so important to you and your firm to be known as folks that give something back to a community?
Well, I tell you, my father was a minister. My grandfather was a minister. We've been around a lot of different circumstances where we just need to give back and make a difference in the lives of other people. I mean, that's really what life's about. And that's why I like to highlight something in this event that's really dear to our heart. It's our veterans. We have the Poker Run, which is the Combat Vets Motorcycle Veterans Ride. All the proceeds go to the veterans. And I want Shannon to jump in here on this, but it's a 66-mile ride. Poker Run, I'd like everyone to sign up for it. Ride in if you can. We're going to raise awareness and raise funds, and those funds are going to go to help with the needs of homeless vets here in our community. It's one thing to say I want to give back, but let's put it in a concrete manner that really impacts lives of real people who live in our community. And that's the veterans and their homeless veterans who've sacrificed so much for our country. It's our time that we step up and we give back to them specifically at this event.
Shannon, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the Gypsy Tour Poker Run's the official name. We brought back the Gypsy Tour because that was the name that came along from years back. Early motorcycle rallies used to be called the Gypsy Tour, so we brought back that name. And the Combat Vets, our local chapter here, they're just a fantastic group of men that really do have big hearts and compassion for their fellow vets. So anything we can do, we started out with them last year at the event. They just jumped in and helped. They've came out when Aaron gives away bicycle helmets. They've came out and helped snap bicycle helmets on kids' heads, and it's just really rewarding to see those guys volunteer and give so much back and help their community. So they're a perfect fit for what Aaron Sachs and Associates does because we're community-minded and so are they. And if we can just jump in and help them out, raise some money, raise some awareness for our local veterans, all the money stays local. I think that's a great thing too. So when you come out to the festival this year, you'll have an opportunity to interact with these gentlemen. You'll have an opportunity to hear their stories. You'll have an opportunity to get involved and help them.
Now, both of you are obviously very passionate about that. My guests this morning are attorney Aaron Sachs and Shannon Cape, all from the Aaron Sachs and Associates law firm. You were a veteran, weren't you, Shannon?
Yes, sir, I was.
Where did you serve?
I was 7 years in the Air Force.
Okay. Why the issue of homelessness for veterans? What's the issue there?
I just think economic times create hard times for everybody, and veterans are not immune from that just because they served in the military. We all probably know somebody that's been on hard times, and veterans support veterans. So it really becomes a fraternity, a brotherhood. When you serve in the military, it doesn't matter what branch. We all kind of look out for one another. So when these needs arise, that's what's great about the Combat Vet Motorcycle Association is if they hear of a need, they validate that need to make sure it's a true need. And if it is, they're the first to stand up and help them.
Okay. Aaron, getting back to the event itself, the 12 bands that haven't happened before, did you wake up one night with a eureka moment that said we have to have lots of music? Where did that idea come from?
Well, I tell you, there's something at this event for everyone. There is an ice cream social, there is a car show, a motorcycle show, there's other contests. The one thing we thought was maybe lacking from this event that would be perfect for this is to turn it into a music festival. And so for our 25th anniversary of the law firm, we figured, let's just bring the bands. Let's not charge anything for the bands. We want to give back to the community because they've done so much for us. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, we kind of got carried away, and I'm very excited about it. But we wanted to bring in main headliners that are on the radio, that are making an impact around the country. And so that's why we have like Lindsay L., Blackjack Billy, Dallas Smith, finalists from The Voice. But they're a lot of fun. And so at this event, we have other attractions such as the Globe of Steel.
I've heard about that. That's where the guy goes around in a circle,
Yeah, you
right?
get a couple riders in this big metal globe, and you just have them go upside down, and it's great. We have stunt riders. We have vendors. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And if you want to just hang out with us for the night and enjoy some free music and have a great time celebrating our heritage and our community, it just come on out.
You know, the mission statement for Ozark on Two Wheels, just shifting gears here for just 1 second. Did you like that, the gear shift? It says it's deeply committed to promoting safe riding and encouraging other drivers to share the road. How big a role does that play in all of this?
Well, you know, Ozarks on Two Wheels really got started because we wanted to be part of the motorcycle community. And when we started it, it was the last thing motorcycle riders want to hear is about accidents, because we all know the inherent danger when we ride motorcycles. We know that when we get into it. So we wanted to come alongside the motorcycle community, and naturally the perfect fit for us was safety. The Look Twice, Save a Life campaign, we've got yard signs, we've got bumper stickers, we've got tons of safety information on the OzarksOnTwoWheels.com website. That was really our main focus, to share with other riders and really drivers of cars, you know, to look twice, save a life. It just, that extra second to look twice. Motorcycles are hard to see, and you can save someone's life by taking that extra second.
And let me jump in on that because, you know, as a rider, I've had enough, frankly. I mean, how many times do we have to hear in the news that someone has been run over by a driver who just didn't look? Bikes are not invisible. Riders are not invisible. We need to show a little respect. They have every bit as much right to be on the road as a person driving a car. And so that's why we wanted to launch into this campaign, Look Twice, Save a Life. We have, you know, yard signs. We have all sorts of ways to try to raise awareness because it's important.
Excellent. Well, you know, I hope this morning we allowed you on Around the Ozarks an opportunity to get to know both Aaron and Shannon a little bit. And certainly you can hear the passion in both of them, not only for rider safety, but for the Route 66 event itself, which looks really exciting. Where are they going to find the Motorcycle Village?
It's going to be really at the corner of Jefferson and St. Louis Street, next to the Discovery Center. Probably be the closest pin drop I could give you, if you will.
Just east of Park Central, and we're closing down Jefferson Street. We're closing down streets. We're going to fill the streets, so it's not hard to find.
If we happen to get 100,000 people this year, are we going to be ready for that?
Absolutely.
That would be fantastic.
Excellent. Before we wrap up, gentlemen, anything either of you want to say before we close?
If you want more information, OzarksOnTwoWheels.com.
Excellent. Aaron?
Please sign up for the poker run if you ride. It's going to help a great cause. And it goes to help the needs of our homeless vets here in our community.
Excellent. That wraps it up this morning for Around the Ozarks. My name is Scott Meyer, the General Manager here at Midwest Family Broadcasting. You can hear a replay of this morning's show on mwfmarketing.fm.
Thank you for joining us for Around the Ozarks, a public affairs program brought to you by your local Midwest Family Broadcasting station. Listen again next Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Find this and all other segments of Around the Ozarks at mwfmarketing.fm.
Everyone knows that July 4th is America's birthday, but did you know that our home state of Missouri also has a birthday this summer? Hi, this is State Representative Eric Burleson, and August 10th will be Missouri's 195th birthday. This year, I'd like to invite you to celebrate Missouri's birthday and show our state patriotism by proudly flying or displaying the Missouri flag in front of your home or business. What's that? You don't have a Missouri flag? Well, you're in luck, because I have a limited number of Missouri flags that actually flew at the state capitol, and I'd be willing to give one to you free of charge if you promise to fly it on August 10th, Missouri's birthday. For more information, please contact my office at 573-751-0136 or go to my constituent website at ericburleson.net. That's ericburleson.net. Thank you and happy birthday, Missouri.
The Springfield Greene County Park Board has lots to keep you and your family active. Got kids ages 5 to 12 who like to ride their bike and swim? Sign up for Kidathlon, a mini triathlon for kids on Saturday, August 6th at 8 a.m.
Let's do something new.
Or try Spark Sports like volleyball for 3rd through 8th grade and lots of soccer for 3-year-olds through 5th grade.
I love soccer.
Deadline is August 5th, and lace up your skates at Mediacom Ice Park and learn to play ice hockey or learn to skate.
I like to ice skate.
Enjoy the outdoors and sharpen your archery aim at our outdoor field course before opening day. Kayak or canoe at Lake Springfield Boathouse, or try a step up from mini golf at Betty Allison at Oscar Bloom, an easy par 3 9-hole course, lighted and open till 11 p.m. Perfect for a date or a fun family night. For all this and more, visit parkboard.org and like us on Facebook to stay up to date with everything going on in your parks. The Springfield Greene County Park Board, there's something for everyone.